Hello, all you drama enthusiasts. Welcome to the meeting. This is Angie's Drama Room, and I am your meeting host, Angie. And today we are going to be talking about a Chinese historical romance political drama. Yes, it's a period piece costume drama, and it is The Prisoner of Beauty. Yes, I am surprised also. This aired earlier, and I just picked it up and I am totally 100% in on this drama. This series is almost like what would you would call it's a contractual marriage. Okay, it starts off as a contractual marriage. That's kind of what it is. And if you like contemporary dramas where they were contractual marriages, which that's what I liked, and that's how I started watching Chinese dramas because I like the contractual marriage. And so that's what this is about. And also it's like Romeo and Juliet, the enemies of two houses, right? So we have our female lead and our male lead. Okay, I will say I will give it a 8, conservatively 8 out of 10 for right now, because right now I'm only halfway mark, just a little over the halfway mark. I believe I'm on episode 24 or something like that. But however, I will give it a 5 flame swoon worthy series. The chemistry between our two leads here are playing off the darts throwing at each other, the love looks, and the longing. I really am enjoying this 100%. Let's talk about it. I will say that this story is based on the female lead's point of view, POV, Lady Zhao, and then of course I have our male lead here, Lord Wei. So that's kind of where I look at it, because what happens is she kind of has all the logic and reasoning and everything to the story. He's just there to draw off the romantic vibes going back and forth. The only thing I didn't care too much for was how it was a setup. It was kind of weird. So what happened was, Lady Zhao, she had a cousin, and this cousin was set to marry Lord Wei, our male lead. But the cousin liked a stable hand, or what I would call a brute type of guy, or I would say also maybe a barbarian. He had the tan look, the long hair, uh, the workers' clothes, right? So yeah, so everybody would assume like muscle man, right? Muscle bound, right? So she liked, the cousin liked him, but she was going to go ahead and do the obligation of marrying Lord Wei, because that's what the family had already arranged for. So what happened is our female lead here, Lady Zhao, she decided to say, look, go ahead and elope, be with the man that you love, and I'll take your place and marry Lord Wei. So when all the elders of the family got together, the grandfather was in his sick bed, and when all the elders got together and found out that the cousin had ran away, or the cousin, they couldn't find the cousin. They didn't know why she went away. They just couldn't find her the night before she had to go to Laura Way's home. And so now they're trying to figure out what to do, because now they can't find her, and she ran off, right? While we have our Lady Zhao is sitting next to, or kneeling next to her grandfather, while he's laid in the bed sick. And so she's not saying nothing because she knew what happened, but she's not saying anything. So what ended up happening was, one of the elders, came up with epiphany and said, "Why don't we send Lady Zhao to marry Lord Wei?" Well, kind of what made it kind of be logically reasoning to why that would have happened. And so now the Lady Zhao's parents didn't want that. And so they were all willing nilly to send the cousin to marry this man. However, when it came to having to send her, they didn't want to do it. They thought, I mean, they made it seem like they were actually literally sending her to the slaughter. Trying, like, it's like you were okay with the cousin, but now when the shoe's on the other foot, now it's like, oh, wait a minute, no, we can't send her. But yeah, that's kind of how it happened. So what really was the problem was, as I was saying, it was about the enemy of two houses, right? So you have where somehow, I don't know, they either, if they're going to explain it later on, again, we are only halfway mark. But what happened was when Lord Wei, when he was a young boy, a young lad, okay, his grandfather, his father, and his brother, who was much older, much older than him, brother who was much older than him, all perished supposedly by the hands of the Quao family. Because what happened was the brother told um, Lord Wei to hide in this box and said, "Do not trust anybody from the Quao family." Excuse me, from the Zhao family. So that's kind of what happened. That's kind of what happened. And so now the grandmother of the Wei family and the grandfather of the Zhao family decided, in order to mend fences or try to bring the family together, the kingdoms together in unity, they decided to put the contractual marriage on their grandchildren. So now here she is. Lady Zhao goes and like solemnly going, like again, like they were sending her to the slaughter. Like, it was so funny. They were again willy nilly sending the cousin. Now they got to send the. So she goes there, and now she entered into this contractual marriage. So when she is at the Wei estate, she is hidden behind a sheer, right, sheer curtain. Now Lord Wei didn't want to do it at all. Okay, he didn't want to enter into this contractual marriage. So he gets up as he was talking, giving his speech, saying that he may not want to do this. He doesn't like, want a part of it. But when he pulls the sheer curtain away, sees Lady Zhao, all of a sudden he's enamored in her beauty. Okay. And now he changed his narrative. Now he wants to proceed into going into this relationship with her. So he's feeling it out. So yes, he's thinking, yes, I may want to do this. So that's how it starts. Okay, so that the setup I thought was kind of funny, weird how they were fine with the cousin going, but now all of a sudden now they were really didn't really want to send ladies out to marry this man, and they were really hurt by this thing. The other thing I kind of didn't care too much for was, again, as I was saying, this is the point of view of our female lead here, Lady Zhao. It's her point of view. And so what I didn't really care for was when she manipulated a situation, and I didn't like that. It was too manipulative, and using Lord Wei in the way and his people to advance her cousin and her cousin's elope, her cousin's fiance or husband. I don't even know the whatever. And I didn't like that. That was too manipulative. But I guess if you think about it, if it was a man doing it, I guess we would have been fine with it. But because she did it, so that's the reason why I say I must be team Way. Because I'm telling you, this the Lord Way in this drama, or even the actor who plays him, yeah, he really works those costumes, right? The period piece wardrobe. He's really working at. Matter of fact, I went back to revisit. Was it Kill Me, Love Me? Yeah. For these two right here, the one that did Kill Me, Love Me, and the actor who's doing this one here, they are both amazing when it came to these costume dramas. And I don't know what I was missing out on. And I think what really was another thing was that I kind of had to say, oh, okay, this is a contractual marriage, and look at it as a point of a contractual marriage. But sometimes when it comes to the storyline, it falls short. But in this particular one, in The Prisoner of Beauty, the story, everything, every story arc or every character arc, is excellent writing. The chemistry, you're wishing them to get together. You're wishing that you were Lady Zhao and you want to embrace the Lord Wei. I mean, that's the point of it. And yes, I am like binge watching it, literally binge watching it, up until now, where I am on episode 20 plus or something like that. but each thing she did was really her point of view. So she was really the one who had all the reasoning and logic and the narrative and understanding. Lord Wei is just there to be the comforter to her, and to be. And he did have some type of knowledge, but he had to be the one to implement everything. And so um, each story kind of fell into her lap. And what it was is like we have these kingdoms, all these different kingdoms, and they were trying to a water pathway. And again, anything that deals with water, having to do canals and water, you're talking about trade, because that's the only way they can trade. So that was reasoning why too. So right now we have the scheming girl who was in love with Laura Way's brother. So when Laura Way's brother died by the hands of the Zhao family, now she's out here trying to scheme against the ladies out because of that. So this is where we are now. And then we had another male lead. I can't think of his name right now. However, he came in, and so he came in about maybe the episode earlier episodes, and somewhat kidnapped the lady Zhao for his own selfish reasons. And so then she ended up turning over that man to Lord Wei, and she went back into Lord Wei's hands. And Lord Wei thought she was scheming against him because of this man, but it was the other way around. It was the whole thing. And now he's back and still being schemy, and he still doesn't want to be part of the kingdom of trying to build these canals, because he feels like if he does it, he loses his power. And oh my God, this man crazy. Yeah, he look, spoiler. Okay. He ended up offing his own father. Then he ended up offing his stepmother, and yeah, and now he's taking the throne. And he got blood over his face, and he's taking the throne. And he said, "Now I'm in charge." And so the general, who was part of, who liked the father, he was looking like, "What is going on with this?" He's like, he didn't want to do it. He's like, "This is can't be right," because he was still loyal to the father. Then he wanted to off the 8-year-old boy who was the son of the stepmother, because the stepmother always wanted to advance him. And the way it started was because they had this deer hunt festival, and the stepmother wanted to send her 8-year-old boy to this thing. He's like, he's only 8. I think at this point, she probably wish she did send him. And then, and it wasn't much of some tug and pulling as opposed to you wanted to do it. It was just a lot of longing, and it was a lot of wanting to be together and trying to get them together. And so they didn't really have a consummated relationship yet, because when the grandfather ended up passing for with his sickness, so now she's supposedly being mourning for a year. So she can't do nothing, and he is allowing this to happen. And we really didn't get an official kiss until I believe it was episode 23. So yeah, or 22 or something like that. It was within the 20s. We really didn't get the official kiss then. And when they did do it, she was drunk. But after that, they haven't had any type of physical relationship after that. Now we also have a cousin Wei, right? The cousin Wei, and he was a womanizer, and supposedly he was a womanizer, but also his mother was abused by a someone else, by the Ching Ping family. And so he had the option to either go to the Ching Ping family and take over there, or he could stay where he was. And the grandmother wanted to have him stay where he was, and he chose to stay there. So now, so he is part of the Wei family. But however, he was a womanizer, so he fell in love with Lady Zhao because her beauty. I mean, she's pretty, but I don't think she has that exotic beauty. But actually, her beauty kind of is growing on me now as we're going further into the episodes. The costumes on them, the wardrobe on them is excellent. I mean, the cinematography is excellent. The direction is excellent. The storytelling, each story arc is really good. as they moving on to the next episode, and you're kind of holding on to see what happens on the next episode. So it did really have everything, and there's no fillers. It's a fast-paced drama. There is really, I haven't seen any fillers, and when they were fillers, is really when it comes to their relationship together, showing them together. You can tell that they did cut a lot of scenes together, because one moment they were in their chambers, the next moment, the next scene, he's in his governor's or his study doing something there. So but however, it was really a fast paced scene. There was not much fillers that you was like, okay, you want to fast forward or whatever, or you go and get you some popcorn, come back. The scenes were very good, the storytelling was very good, and you kind of was still on your edge of your seat watching each and every one of these things. But again, I am very much enjoying it, and I can't wait until finish watching it. Again, this is part one. I will give me my roundup once I finish watching all episodes. So stay tuned for that. I really appreciate you guys tuning in and listening to my review on The Prisoner of Beauty. If you don't mind hitting that subscription button, I appreciate every subscriptions I have gotten, and hitting that like button also. And I see you next time. Meeting adjourned.